A key event worth highlighting took place in the year 1640. Known as the Body of Blood, it marks the eruption of violence in Barcelona during the Corpus Christi celebrations. This was a reaction against the Count Duke of Olivares' reforms under King Philip IV. Something of a famine was sweeping Iberia at the time, and the 30 Years' War was raging in Central Europe. Castile, the region which contributed the most to this war effort, was exhausted, prompting the Duke to suggest what he called a union of arms, according to which other parts of Philip's domain would begin contributing more funds and men to the campaign. This was met with strong opposition in many regions, including Catalonia, partly as a consequence of the ensuing resistance, but also as a response to the French capture of a Spanish fort in the northernmost part of Catalonia. The Duke of Olivares sent an army to the northeast. This army, however, fed itself on what livestock and crops it found, as well as staying in local houses, a system of auspice, it's worth noting, that was stipulated under Catalan law itself. But given the bad harvests, this proved understandably onerous for the local population, causing general discontent. Local nobles, unwilling to pay the Duke's new tax, stoked the flames, leading to violence in Barcelona and the murder of the local viceroy. In the uproar, the president of the regional government, Paul Claris, proclaimed a Catalan republic and recognized Louis XIII of France as sovereign. The French king sent troops, which the Catalan government was made to finance, precisely what it was avoiding in the case of the Spanish king's union of arms. King Louis reserved many public positions for Frenchmen and appointed a French viceroy rather than a local. During this period, Peter de Marca, who acted as governor of Catalonia on behalf of the French, the viceroy being de facto devoted to military operations, wrote the following, quote, "I am confirmed in the opinion that, in Catalonia, all bear ill will towards France, and are instead inclined towards Spain. I receive fresh confirmation daily. There is no pro-French party here." He was right to warn of general dissatisfaction, as was Louis Viceroy, the Marquis of Brezé, who wrote that he saw, quote, "only hostile and suspicious faces among the Catalans." By 1645, a new rebellion was underway, and the bishop of the municipality of Vic wrote a letter to the King of Spain, asking that he bring, quote, "justice, as in Castile." Peasant complaints against local governors were also common at this time. To judge from contemporary accounts, Philip IV was met with some acclaim when he entered Barcelona in 1652. The Catalan government recognized Spanish monarchy and returned to Spain, albeit having lost a northern piece to France. Another, more prominent year in separatist historiography is that of 1714, which provides the region's national day, so to speak, the 11th of September. This commemorates the occasion when local government authorities, among other Spaniards, revolted against Bourbon absolutism, setting off the uprising by stating their intention to struggle on behalf of, quote, "the freedom of this principality and of all Spain, and to avoid becoming slaves with the rest of misled Spaniards." It was, in other words, not a conflict between one region and the rest of Spain, but a dynastic dispute which unfolded throughout the country. Catalans were as divided as the rest of Spain on whether to support the Bourbon dynasty's reforms. Today, this conflict, known as the War of Succession, has been rebranded, by the slight shift of a syllable, as the War of Secession in certain Catalan educational materials. Again, the explicit formulae used in primary sources are enough to discount separatist attempts at appropriating such instances of Catalan heroism. The same sentiment as that of the 1714 Barcelona uprising occurs in the 1808 Catalan song railing against Napoleon. Indeed, the president of the Spanish Assembly in the city of Cadiz, who proclaimed the country's independence from Napoleon, Lázaro Dao, was himself Catalan. In this vein, we find a robust tradition of Catalan poets and artists, devoting their talents to lionizing Spanish martial feats during this period. Nor was this enthusiasm limited to poets. Catalan volunteers, under the command of General Prim, were key to Spain's victories in Wadras and Tetuan in North Africa. A decade later, during Cuba's revolt against Spain, Francis Camperdon wrote, "Catalonia's bars, ever the mainstays of Spain," reflecting the fervent opposition to Cuba's separation that characterized the region's public opinion. And once more, its people contributed to the war effort with both songs and soldiers. In March 1869, a battalion of Catalan volunteers would be the first to set off for Cuba from Spain. The subsequent loss of Cuba and the Philippines will mark a turning point, however. Specifically, it will threaten certain economic interests in Catalonia, with the prospect of losing benefits from Madrid, on which they had come to rely.